Here we go. Now, I gotta pick this up and get it in there. I gotta get it in there. Yep. And get it on the studs. Now break it off. Oh, man, that's heavy. That's a heavy pot liquor. Come on, man. How am I gonna get my hand under there? Oh, I wish that alternator gizmo wasn't there. Okay, here we go. Come on, dear. Come on, dear. Where's the holes? There's the holes. There's one. There's the one. There we go. Okay, now, there's a support bolt goes in the back here, and I just knocked it on the ground. Isn't that special? So, all I can do is put these bolts in and hope they don't break them off or something. Well, that sucks. I'm breathing hard. Honey, stop breathing hard. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, I'm going to take my foot, see if I can reach that bolt.
So here's a interesting thing. So Cummins, I don't know how they do it, but none of their washers on their bolts will come off. So like you'll have, like on these here, you'll have a flat washer on there, but it ain't coming off. I don't know how they get them on there, unless they go on and then they get threaded. I have no clue how that works. Anyway, which is, I don't know, it's just, why would you do that? Cummins does a lot of weird stuff I've never seen. It's all new to me. So lock washers don't look that good. I mean, they're kind of compressed, but the only way I'm going to get them off is if I jammed something in there and spread them and then went and got some new ones. You know, some people get the idea I hate Cummins. I don't hate it. This is a good engine as long as you change the oil regular. Why do you have to change the oil regular? Well, in my way of thinking, it's because they run too high oil temperature. And when you run really high oil temperature, you cook the life out of it, you oxidize it, turns to sludge. So if you don't change it regular, you're going to wear things out. Oil's no good. No good. So that's my 2 cents. I don't know what you think, but it's not gonna beat me. I mean, I'm gonna win. If I come across that I hate them, sorry, but I don't. It's just something new and different to work on. They do a lot of odd stuff, which I don't understand, so I don't know. A little bit of aniseed, good for everybody, isn't it? Sure goes in the holes better with a little bit of lubrication. You noticed I painted this, didn't you? Oh, nice and black. I'm hoping this blackness increases my oil pressure. What do you think? That it repairs the cam bearings. Okay, I got the cooler housing on, filter housing, water filter, oil filter. So what I'm going to do is get the pan on, and once the pan and the oil pump's on, this is where the cooler mounts. So I'm going to pour oil in these, and it will fill the filter, and it should run down the galleys, fill up the piston squirter galley, should run on top of the crank, all that, and help with the priming operation. Okay, so I sent a picture of these bolt heads with the part number to Brian, and Brian says these are the updated 12.9 bolts, whatever that means. Anyway, so they have a different torque sequence than just the regular grade 8 bolts. And since these are only 3/4 bolts, these have a specific manner in which they want you to do this. So what I had to do was I had to loosen them all. Then I had to tighten them to 50 pounds 100 pounds, 140 pounds. Now what I got to do is I made a mark on the socket. It tells you to get an impact wrench, put it on there, mark the cap, and then with an impact wrench turn it 90 degrees. So that's what we're going to do, 90 degrees. So it's a torque turn method is what you got to do. And you start at number 4 cap. So here's what I'll do. There's my mark. I'm going to call it, so in the direction, if you're doing this in the direction of rotation, boy. So here's the hole in it. I'm going to call that number 1. And then this one will be number 2. It's wider. So 90 degrees. That would be 90 degrees, correct? Yeah. So you're going to put it on here like this and in the direction of rotation. So if I put it on like that and I make a mark on the cap here and then I impact it around, that's the wrong way. That the right way? Hell, I don't know. No, that's the wrong way. Alright, so to there, and then we're going to turn it 90. Easy peasy. Okay, that one's done. Next. Alright, so here I'm going to turn it around to here. Oop, oop, right there. Here we go. And that one's done.
Okay, then you move. So this is number 4 cap. It's going to be your middle cap. So now we're going to number 3. So you got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, alternate. Alright, so let's go here. And there. Okay, finished though. Yeah, I can't believe the amount of black is still coming off of here. Oil, draining down. You want to see? Okay. So that's what it
did. They tell you to take a silver pencil, mark it, turn it 90 degrees. Did I do it right, Bill? Alright, so what I got to do now is clean up the pan rail good. It's still got some goop on it, especially back here. Get that all cleaned up. Get the so I got to clean that suction tube up and get that installed in the pan. Let me go show you something important. I had a guy send me a picture of something. He's saved me a fortune, because I'm sure this would happen to mine too. He saved my engine. So let's go look. So I had a guy send me a picture and a message. These are the clamps that hold this suction tube down in the pan that came out of mine with these plastic deals. You can see they're falling apart. So what happened to him is these disintegrated and clogged the intake and burned the motor down. So since I got this pipe from Holst Truck Parts, it came with these style clamps. That's what's going in it. So thanks for the tip on that. And I kind of had a question about trying to use these again. I thought, you know, those will come apart and they'd come right there and start plugging it up. So Not a good idea. Plastic. So I've come to the big town of Blackfoot. I need some 7/16 fine thread ready rod to guide that pan up, because the book tells you to use silicone, and I was going to use it anyway. Anyway, you can't, nobody has, it's a Sunday though, can't find any fine thread 7/16 ready rod anywhere. Can't even find fine thread bolts. Heck, I haven't got anything out in the bolt bin, cat stuff or otherwise, that uses that kind of nonsense. A Cummins only. You know, I'm learning a lot about Cummins. People think, you hate Cummins. No, I don't hate Cummins. It's just different. Something you gotta get used to. What do you do? Okay, so I'm ready to put the pan on the Cummins, and I need something to help guide it up, because you have to silicone the gasket, and since it was all rolled up, I got it hanging over here trying to get the kink out of it. So I want to cut 4 of these. I went to my local Pioneer store and got me a 4-foot chunk, 3-foot, whatever this is, of 7/16 fine thread ready rod. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces 6 inches long and use them for guides. So thank you for the markers. Those are awesome. Love them. Okay, so this is just an everyday deal. It just keeps leaking oil from up above here on this side, out of the cam side, it looks like. So I got to get rid of the droppies of oil and make sure I don't have anything that's going to come down in after I get it all ethered and cleaned up. I gotta just go down the inside of the block here where it's been dripping off. I don't know, this might be coming from up top out of the heads, but it likes to come down here. And it comes out this back corner pretty heavy. It's slowed down, but geez Louise, we've had this in here for what, a month now? Hey, so I gotta apologize to one of my viewers. You know, when you make comments, sometimes you don't get the tone, and I was trying to be funny, and I don't think it came across that way. So Bill, I gotta apologize to you. He said I was funnier in 2016. He didn't say why. Later, he did say it was because he thought my Hillary stuff was funny. But I had to go back in my videos, and I had to delete. YouTube allows me to go in and edit videos, and they really encourage you to do it, to go in and take out offensive stuff. And you know, I don't know, it's a crazy world. I think we got to start fighting back against this woke culture. But basically what happens is, when I put that stuff in there, YouTube doesn't recommend my content. My views go way down. And sometimes it takes a long time to get it back. Sometimes I don't think you ever really do. Because when I'd upload a video, they ask you now if there's any content in there, like swear words, things that are offensive, hate speech, and they would classify that as hate speech. And so I had to get rid of it. So I just made a flippant remark to him that people like him had broke my funny bone. And he's a long-time viewer. You gotta realize I kind of have a dry sense of humor. So I'm sorry, Bill. I did not mean to offend you. Anyway, I'll just leave that there. that's enough said. So I got it cleaned up. This last back little piece here, I had to use my gasket scraper. Danny Toner sent me. Worked out really good, Danny. It fit right in here. And cleaned the gasket off this back little section. And now I got to just kind of go over it with some fine emery paper to clean off any leftover residue. So I'm just using some Start You Bastard. Oops, that might be offensive. I'm using some ether. I'm using the ether bunny, as Lord Muck would call it. And just cleaning it up. So years ago, when my youngest son Taylor and then my oldest son Matt, a lot of people ask who those guys are. So Matt and Jake are my sons. Matt's the oldest, then there's Jake, then there's Taylor. So Matt and Jake worked with me. Matt has a degree in surveying. He's our surveyor guy. And so years and years ago, Matt and Jake tore down the filthy whore. Oh, can't say that neither. They tore down number 3, the open cab scraper. And they, oh, there's one little piece of junk. I'm going to have to go get the scraper again. Anyway, they did it outside because we didn't have the shop. I don't even know if we had the shop done. Probably just had the frame up. And it had a broken cylinder head. And so they basically in-framed it outside. And when they put the cam fence back on, they used alcohol. And they cleaned the head and the cam fence and everything with alcohol. And I'm here to tell you what, when we had to take that back off, you like had to use, it was just silicone that we put it on with, but it was like you needed dynamite to get it off. But my whole point of telling you that story is, when you use silicone, if you really want it to stick and seal, and boy, that thing didn't have any leaks anywhere. You've got to use something to clean it up, because, and you want to keep going over it till there's no more black, because that black is ingrained into the pores of the cast iron, and that's nasty stuff. And your silicone's not going to stick, and it's going to do you no good. So if you really want to seal something up, clean it up with some sandpaper, and then clean it until it's absolutely clean. I actually kind of like, you know, I went over this with one of those, I used one of those white rubbery bristle pads, and there was some spots that were so bad I had to use the green. Cleans up those gaskets well, but it's like it's still kind of stained with whatever glue Cummins used on it from their recon center in Mexico. Okay, we're up. Matt came over during lunch break and helped me get it up. It went up really nice with those guide studs. He took the front, I took the back, because I'm a rear end kind of guy. Back end, Anyway, I just snugged the bolts up just enough to squeeze out just a little bit of the silicone. There's not a lot on there. Anyway, we'll let that set up for a few minutes, then I'll come back and start torquing them down. So that part is done. Hey, so this is a ratchet that one of my subscribers, Matthew Marquette, sent me. Snap-on, one more payment, and it's mine. Anyway, I was putting the pan on with this because it's hard to swing a ratchet in there. But this thing's awesome because you can take it like that and turn it. You can run it around and around short and then turn it up for maximum torquage. These are awesome. Better go get you one. So I don't know if this is allowed or not, but I'm using cat parts on a Cummins. I'm using cat O-rings. That should improve the performance or just the cost. Which one do you think it'd be? Oh, this is the coolest thing since sliced bread right here. Look at what that does to a silicone tube. I mean, it gets every last bit of it out. It's awesome. You just sit there and squeeze it and then open it up, move it up the tube, and just keep squeezing. Coolest thing ever. So a gentleman sent me this swivel, what's it been, over a year ago? Down there in Texas. And this is an awesome swivel. It has withstood the test of time. Pretty damn tough. These are worth the $50 they ask for them. This is the viscosity sensor. Kind of wanted to show you how that works. So your supply from your main rifle comes in here and it runs through, and in the very end here is this little teeny orifice in there, and then inside here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but they've got this deal pressed in there and it has a hole in it, and then it's got a cavity around it. And the theory is that when your engine oil is cold, it comes down through here, and because of that cavity, it reduces the pressure to the control valve in the pump and raises it up. Like if it was 32 degrees, it'd raise it up like 100 psi to get oil, really high pressure oil, quick to the STCs to make them function. I can't really see how you can poke oil through that puny little orifice and cause a low pressure in here. I went and put the solvent thing in here and was blowing some solvent through it, and it was blowing out of there pretty fast versus out here. So I'm not really sure how that works, but that's the theory behind it. So they tell you in the book that this is supposed to, if you disassemble this, you put this whole unit in a sonic cleaner to clean all the junk out. And then these little teeny screens go in here to ensure that no particles get in here and plug this off, and no junk comes up through this one and plugs up that 40 thousandths orifice in the oil pump cover that I showed you earlier, and plugs off the controls. So I have cleaned it out with solvent and blown it out really well, and I've cleaned up these screens. There's nothing in them. They look really good. So those go in, and then these bands go down in there to retain it. So I'm ready to assemble this, and then this, let me see if I remember correctly, I think it bolts to the pan rail under there like this, I think, is how that goes. And your hoses come out. Or, no, let's see. Yeah, I think it goes like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Just got the pump back from the machine shop. That looks a whole lot better, doesn't it? Anyway, I had him take 3 thousandths off of this. So, we'll be putting a pump together. Okay, I can't think of anything more appropriate to check a China piece of crap, but with a China gauge. So I had him take 3 thousandths off, and that's got me to 4 thousandths, down from 7. See, now I'm wishing I'd have had him take like Oh, 5? Yeah, 5 would have been good. Oh well, we're gonna put it together. Gonna run it. So I got the China pump all done. I had him take 3 thousandths off the housing, so I am now down to 4 thousandths on the end play. Kind of wishing I'd have had him take another thousandths, but anyway, I got her greased up. It's got a pretty good vacuum when you put your hand over it, so it should be able to get its prime pretty quick. Gonna get it in. Hopefully it works and operates. Everything's good. So one of the things I found out too about China pumps is the gasket that goes in here. It's not consistent. It's like 9 thousandths, 10 thousandths. It's kind of wavy gravy. The Cummins gaskets were actually made in the USA. They are consistent 10 thousandths all the way around. So anyway, Cummins, stop building pumps in China, please. Introducing the all-new China N14 Cummins pump, available at Kroger's, Ace Hardware, and now China City. Some machining required. Longevity and durability not included. Get yours now. Okay, a disturbing problem has come up with China pump. China pump has this big chunk of cast iron in here. The Cummins one does not. So I have attempted to put this in about 10 times now, and I keep having to go out and grind it. The Cummins pump will go right up in there between the engine and the frame rails. Not this piece of shit. I have ground and ground and ground on it. So I'm hoping maybe this time. Wish me luck. Oh, so I'm down here in the hangar on the lathe, and I had to machine 40 thousandths off the end of this power steering coupler because I'm pretty sure that a new shaft we bought for the pump was made in China. And I'll show you on the pump, but it wouldn't let it go on. It pinched this up against the shaft. Okay, I know there's probably something we forgot, but
trying to fry one of your battery cables here.
I got oil pressure.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do battery cables.
What's going on? On the start? You don't see any leaks over there? Unlike the...
No, I don't see nothing.
Oh, one thing I forgot. I don't think I've turned the water onto the water filter. I did forget that, didn't I? Here, I can't read it. What does it say? On, off, what?
Yeah, that's on.
Okay, so I crank it some more for more oil pressure, or just let it fire? Hook her up and let her go if she's gonna go. afraid.
I don't know how much to give it.
Yeah, I wonder if we need to be. I wonder if we need to shut those valves off here. Have you put air to it on that side? See what the heck. It was moving that much, huh?
Dude, I was so surprised. It
Go
did.
crank it up and let me watch.
It's bad.
So we either got a bent oil pump shaft or something wrong with the power steering pump shaft. But that thing just rocks back and forth like crazy. So you're not going to believe this, but when I was pressing the drive gear on that shaft, I may have slightly bent this end of the pump shaft. Now the cover went on, there was no binding anything, so it nicks down pretty thin before it gets to the splines, and I think that's possibly where I may have bent it a little. So when we started this up, we had a cork gasket in there, and it was wiggling it, and it would loosen the bolts anyway. It ruined the gasket. So I took the pump off, and we put the old shaft on the coupler and watched it, and it was really wobbling around. So we turned it till it was down, you know, the bend was towards the bottom, and I took that big jack, 30-ton jack on the axle, and I just jacked this up a little, and I just got done putting the pump in there and pulling it out. It fits pretty good. So I may have gotten lucky and straightened it out. It's not 100%, but we had to literally take a hammer and beat that pump into that housing last time. So I knew there was a problem. If that would have been a Cummins shaft made in America, I don't think you'd ever bent it. You'd have broke it first. Be much harder steel, because I'm jacking on this pump shaft here. It didn't bend it. Anyway, this thing's been kicking my ass, but I'm gonna beat it. No fetus can beat us. Look at that, clean as a whistle, no smoke. Pretty good for an N14, ain't it? Okay, Lauren, that's significantly better. We're tooling down the road at temperature. It's got 40 pounds of pressure at 1500. brakes work good too with oil pressure. Okay, we just got back from fueling it up. Oil's up there close to 200, water's at 180, and idling, the pressure is over 15, which is pretty good for N14. So all of those that said my cam bearings needed replaced, and the ones who said I was gonna blow up my oil cooler, I fart in your general direction. No, I'm tickled. It just runs like a top. I think it could use an overhead. I still haven't adjusted the STC control to make sure that it's operating correctly. But anyway, she's a runner. She runs good. Good truck, Lauren. You're gonna have to come up here and run the truck. So I just brought it up here in front of the shop and checking for leaks or anything. So far I haven't got any leaks. Got me a quick drain on there. So let's go fire up Petey. Saturday morning, it was about 28 degrees when I came out of the house. It's warmed up significantly more than that. This truck has Dello 430 weight in it. Let's see what it does on a cold start. See how that smoothed out as soon as the oil pressure picked up and the STs started working? So we're a little over 80 PSI cold start. Is that dangerous? No. Cummins says at 32 degrees and 30 weight oil, see, look at it dropping. The regulator's working. 32 degrees, 30 weight oil, you could have as much as 110 PSI. Because of the viscosity sensor. Cummins wants super high pressure oil to the STCs. They want it there now and quick. And as you heard it when I started it, it was missing and chugging. As soon as that oil pressure came up, STC started to function, timing advanced, and it smoothed right out. Good, that annoying buzzer went off. So we're down, see already, it doesn't take very long. You cycle that oil through the pump, you start making heat in the oil, and then that viscosity sensor no longer functions to make super high pressure, and it just comes right down. See, we're down, closing in on 65. Be interesting to see how much farther it drops, but it will continue to drop. Once you run it, you get down to 20 hot idle. See, it's still coming down. Right about there, when I'd wind it up, you could see that the pressure control kicked in. I'm sure right now the pressure control is dumping oil. See, so we're hanging right there. It's slowly coming down. Let's just wind it up, see what it does here. Say we get right back up there. Is that going to blow up your oil cooler? I don't think so, but I certainly wouldn't recommend stepping on the gas and going when it's cold. I'd let that oil warm up. Let's go outside and look at that. See how she's running. Look at the stacks. See, she's clean. No smoke. So she's been out here idling a while. She's dropped down to 40. But I can still run it up to 80. I'm not even at 1500 here. So I'm tickled to death about my oil pressure. Long live the Cummins. Jeff wins. Hey, so the Peterbilt's done. It's out of here. Next video you'll see I will go through a detailed explanation of why that Peterbilt had low oil pressure and what I think the cause of that was. And it'll basically show you how to take an N14 and make it so your oil's going to last longer and you get your pressure up. Jeff wins, man. I'm just tickled to death. Truck runs really good. I can't tell you how tickled I am.
It's alright. It's alright. You know I love this life I lead.